So at one point, there are issues between your management and Dre. Is this Mateen?
This is and when we say this would be I would say differences of opinions just between the people that were my staff and Aftermath staff, because it was a lot of moving parts. And like and I also want to say these are things that happened like fucking 10, damn near 15 years ago. So it's like, for me, it's like all water under the bridge. So when you ask me questions, I'm going to definitely give you the most truthful, honest answers I can. But anything that I answer, it's all water under the bridge, and it is what it is. But it was just differences of opinions of how to handle my project coming out on my team's end and on Dre and his team.
This is after Compton comes out, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So like he said, he's not bitter anymore. This is not how he currently feels, or like, you know.
And I would like to say, wait, you just said bitter anymore. At no point was I ever bitter at any of this. I think for me, the feeling was hurt, because it was like, over time, I felt like me and Dre had developed a friendship. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, with me having to leave Aftermath, I always used to feel like, well, because me and him used to have like fucking real conversations beyond just music shit. So, you know what I'm saying? And that's on me, because I think just as a human being, especially back in those days, I had a hard time separating business and personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always, like, you know, that's just always been my nature. Like, you know, if I fuck with you, I fuck with you. I don't know how to have I only fuck with you with business. And it was like, Dre always called me his little brother. I always looked up to him like a big brother in those times. You know what I'm saying? So I was never bitter. I would say the more accurate descriptive word would be hurt.
Okay, yeah. So you being hurt, let me correct myself with that. This must have put you in a awkward position, though, because with them being a part of your team and you're kind of stuck in the middle and you guys are still cool. So like, what were you feeling like during that time when that was happening?
I was feeling like, can't we all just get along? Can't we all?
You was Rodney King?
You feel me? I went straight Rodney King, because, man, rest in peace to Rodney King. That's how I felt, though. I just used to, man, bro, because to me, I always look at life like shit should be as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. You know, and I feel like the business of making music is not as hard and as complicated, I think, as we can make it, you know, out to be sometimes. I just used to look at it like, okay, why can't we all just get on the same page about these things? You know, so I would just always feel like, damn, I wish that, because the interesting thing is, when I would have conversations with Dre, and it's just me and Dre, right? It's all good. When I would have conversations with my team, my crew, it was all good. It would seem like, and I'm in the middle, so I'm hearing and I'm having these conversations. I'm like, but why, when we put this together, can we not all get on the same page about things, you know?
People have said working with Dre, you got to keep his interest or he will move on to another project.
Mm.
And that's why there are a lot of artists that have never come out on there. So the reason why I bring this up is to not make Dre look like a bad guy by any means, but I've heard you say the situation with Peter Rosenberg asking you in 2014 if you were worried about your album not coming out, and you gave an answer like, I don't know what happened with the people before me, yada, yada. That's their situation. And when you were in it, you're seeing Dre every day. You come into Thanksgiving, you're looking at him like, that's big bro. Why wouldn't he want my album to come out? Now, I say all that to say, when you work a 9-to-5 corporate job, there's more clear lines of boundaries. You know, the positions of like, hey, this is my manager, this is my boss. Like, yeah, we're cool, but there's still that line. In the music industry or entertainment industry, it's like you guys are more in a less professional environment at times by corporate standards, you know, and it's more relaxed and the lines to the relationships are blurred, right? Like you said, you looked at him like, this big bro, it's my friend, right? You know, so like,
yeah.
Can you talk about that and how that may have affected things for you as personal and professional relationship?
Well, I think that, and like I say, it's all good. This is 10 years, shit that's 10 years old. But I think that the fact that my management wasn't consistently around on a regular basis hurt me, because I feel like, you know, when you think of like Kendrick Lamar, he always had Top Dog, who could be that liaison, like to talk straight business and be there and be around and form that relationship and that bond with Dre and Jimmy or whoever it needed to be. You know, when you think of you know, I think for 50 Cent in the beginning, it was like a Shaw Money XL who was that person. You know, there's always that person in the middle who can kind of like have and build their own relationship with Dre or whatever the case. So I don't know. I think that hurt. You know, was that the question? The question was
it's hard not to it's hard to separate business and personal in the industry.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that's where I was going with that. So yeah, because I think that it was a lot of times that I used to have to have business conversations with Dre. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like with him, it's like when it comes to the art, he wants to talk to the artist about the art. You feel me? It's like I almost feel like Dre compartmentalizes and is able to deal with people's energy based on what he knows he's about to have an interaction with them about, right? Like, okay, if I'm Dre and I see Kendrick Lamar, okay, we about to talk about music, we about to go make some music, it's about to be fun. But when he sees the business person, he can get in that mindset, like, okay, here come the business dude, I gotta talk business. With Jon Connor, a lot of times, I remember him saying this to me. This is a quote. He said, John, do you know you're the only artist that when I have to talk about business with Jon Connor, I have to literally talk to Jon Connor? He's like, it's not supposed to be like that. You know, so I think that strained like things a little bit. If I had to just based off of the question that you asked, you know what I'm saying? I think that, you know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying because you like you were saying, like with Kendrick, there was TDE, right? Like,
correct.
There was a company that was involved. It was Interscope, Aftermath, TDE, right? And it was like for you, it was Interscope, Aftermath. That's it.
Correct.
Right. So like with 50, at least he had a strong management company on the level of Violator, where it's like,
correct.
You know, you got somebody to handle it on that level. Not saying that Mateen wasn't handling business, but at the same time, this wasn't his forte, right? Like he didn't have prior experience in the music industry like this.
Correct. And so then them not being present all the time also, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say that played a part in the things as well.
Was there ever a time that you were just like hired to be a ghostwriter and put on payroll or anything?
There was never a time ever. Like I definitely wrote records, but it was like the entire time I was on Aftermath, I was working on my album.
Got you. Okay. All right. So this next part, you know, of course, we're talking about you leaving Aftermath. And in 2019, you announced that you had parted ways with Aftermath. What exactly happened? The album was named Vehicle City, right? So what happens for you to leave finally?
I'll say okay, cool. Yeah. I had to find a way because I definitely want to answer questions, but like I say, I never want to, because for me, it's often weird for me to talk about this shit because I'm the type of person in my personal life that when I'm over something, I'm over it and I move on. So a lot of times I try to stay clear from talking about things that's so far in my past, because if I have to dig for memories and I don't remember things 100% accurately, like I don't ever want to peel back old scabs and shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I like to progress or whatever the case may be. So in that moment, I'm just thinking of a way to answer your question to where it gives you a proper answer, but also you know, it's from a place of love. You feel me? So you said what happened that made me be like, okay, I'm gone. Well, it was a lot of like, your album's coming out. No, it's not. Your album's coming out. No, it's not. I'm going to Interscope and having these meetings and I'm getting excited. I'm calling my mom, like, Mom, the album coming out. And then the next week I'm having to call my mom like, Mom, it's not coming out. And then I can remember the city of Flint getting excited. The album's coming. And then I'm disappointing people. So it's starting to be like this emotional roller coaster of it's coming. No, it's not. It's coming. No, it's not. And the thing about me is like, man, my grandfather always told me, you always make sure at the end of the day, whether whether you win or lose in life, you can look in the mirror and have nobody to blame but yourself. And I started to feel like, I'm putting my life in other people's hands, that at the end of the day, it's going to be a million more artists that come after me, that, what I'm saying, it just is what it is. But I have to care about my life and the trajectory of my career more than anybody else, because I felt like I was getting played with. And it was like, I'm tired of being disappointed. I'm tired of disappointing my family, disappointing my city. And it's like, for me, I'll bet on myself. And I remember like looking at stories about how Puff Daddy got fired and had to leave Uptown Records and go start Bad Boy. I looked at how 50 Cent had a deal at Columbia before he initially, eventually got a deal with Aftermath and then blew the fuck up. I think about how even Dr. Dre himself had to leave Ruthless Records, had to leave Death Row Records. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it was like, wow, all of the great ones have this type of story where it's like, okay, even if you got to start over and you got to bet on yourself, if you truly great, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, well, if they could do it, I could do it. So for me, it's like, instead of staying in a situation where I'm becoming emotionally drained, I'm in fucking therapy, I feel powerless to do anything. I keep disappointing my fan base to the point where it's like, I had built up a trust with my fan base. I was dropping projects every 2 months. So they knew like, this ain't like Connor to not drop something in this long. And it's like, before I'm too, too far down the road to be able to like give music to my fans, I think I should cut my losses here. And if I got to start over, fuck it. That's how much I love music. That's how much I believe in myself. And that's how much I just want my message to still get out to my fan base, is that fuck it. I'll leave everything behind, start over and do what I got to do. So 2019 was that. It just was. It kept being, it's coming, it's not coming, it's coming, it's not coming. It was never told to me why these things were happening, So a lot of times people was asking me about the album and why it wasn't dropping, but they was asking me for answers that I didn't have because I wasn't getting the answers either.
Yeah, and it was like you're missing your prime years.
Yes. What I'm saying? Well, and listen, wait. I want to say though, fuck that. I'm still in my prime now. So the thing is, I want to
from the perspective of, because hip hop has ageism. Like other genres really not so much, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like they're like, hip hop is a young man's sport, and it's like the next person is coming up, like it's easy for people to kind of forget about you a lot, and like you were saying that you had the hype, you was building up, you was doing so many projects. You was actually on the road that a lot of people are now, where like you got to release multiple projects each year. You was already doing that back then.
Back then. I didn't realize that I was ahead of the curve back then. I didn't realize that actually signing a deal was a step back, like in that sense, because it was like where the music business eventually ended up going is what I was doing 2011, 2012. And the thing is, it's like we live, we learn, and we grow. And I grew from that. So it's like now, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm so focused on just everything I'm doing now, because just like we talked about Kanye being a futurist, I've always seen myself that way. So now with the things that I'm doing with content, counterculture, putting out the projects that I'm about to put out, it's like, yeah, I'm betting on myself again, and I'm looking at this as my when Dre left Ruthless moment and had to bet on himself. So that's how I looked at that moment.
Right. And the album was named Vehicle City, and you had a convo with Dre, and he said you worked really hard on the album and you could have it and do whatever you want with it. A bunch of calls are made, and it comes back that Dre's lawyer says Dre never said that.
Yes.
And that's like the moment where you was like, man, fuck this.
That's it. Fuck this. Like, yeah, I was over it by then, dog. And so that's dope that you said. So damn, because I've only said that in like 1 or 2 interviews, but that's real. And like I always say in the interview,
I think you only said that on Counterculture.
Damn, that's on Counterculture. You right. Damn, my dog.
I know you, man. Come on.
Thank you for tuning in, bro. Yeah. So, yeah, but that's a real ass story. And like I said then when I told the story, Dre has had 1,000,001 things happen in his life. And I know Jon Connor's album is probably not at top of the memories of his because he's had so much legendary shit. But that was something that was important in my life. So I remember it like it was yesterday. It was like, yeah, that's a true story. He had told me I could have an album. And then when the lawyers got on the phone, they was like, Nah, he said he ain't never say that. So then at that point, I was so emotionally fucking drained and just drained by everything. It was like, fuck it, I don't even want the album. Just let me out the contract, man. Like, because that's the thing that people don't know too. When they say, first of all, and that's good that I'm on here, I didn't get fucking dropped. I don't even know what the fuck that means. After like me and Dre decided to part ways, so Empire is a subsidiary of fucking Universal Music Group. So being on Empire is the same as being on Interscope. It's the same as being under all those other labels. So this is a little music business 101 for y'all that don't know. All of these people are all in the same building, okay? So when I left, when me and Dre parted ways, the same executives that I would talk to at Interscope still wanted to put the album out. They just wanted to put it out on Empire. So it's like, okay, you don't want to be on Aftermath no more, but we still want to put the album out. So that is what we were in the process of negotiating, not getting fucking dropped. They were trying to figure out, okay, you don't want to be on Aftermath no more. So what if we just put the album out on Empire? Is that cool? So I was cool with that for a second, but then that's when motherfuckers started playing. Like that's when it was, okay, you can have the album, you can't have the album. And then by that point, it was like, okay, I done went from Aftermath to possibly Empire to now I can have the album and do what I want to do with it to now, no, you can't. Now it's like, damn, dog, like, I'm just ready to be back in control of my life because you're dealing with somebody who came from being independent. Like, you know what I'm saying? I came from like selling CDs myself for $10 and making $5,000 a fucking week. Like, you know what I'm saying? Selling shit out my trunk, selling shit out of my locker in high school. So I never needed or like to be in a system where I couldn't go out and get paper for myself. The thing is, for me, as much as I love music, I got a family that I want to provide for. I got a city that I want to inspire. It's bigger than just Jon Connor needs to put out an album on Aftermath with Dr. Dre. Dog, no, I have a whole city that I want to inspire. I want to inspire Black people as a whole. So if I'm getting put in a situation where I'm not allowed to use my voice, I'm not allowed to be my own man, it's like, no, that's not who I am as a person. I'm not a rollover and die-ass nigga. I'm not that type of dude. So for me, it was just like, okay, if we can't figure it out, no love lost. It's all good. I learned so much at Aftermath. It's all love. All right, didn't work out. Cool beans. All good. Let me get the fuck on out of here and get back to doing what I was doing independently there.
So for those of you guys that don't understand, it's kind of a similar situation where after Game put out the documentary, he went over to Geffen, which was a subsidiary, right, of Universal Music Group.
Of Universal Music
Group. He put
out
the Doctor's Advocate. So it's kind of like a situation
it's the same
like that.
building.
Yeah. So basically, you end up having all these multiple conversations with execs, people trying to figure out a way to put out the album, get out of your contract. And you were so fed up to the point you just wanted to fulfill the requirements to get out of it. You didn't care. Correct. If the album flops, whatever, you know what I mean? Just like they would ask you questions like, how do you feel about this? You're like, cool. That's what we got to do. Cool. Like you just didn't care anymore.
Correct.
What was the last conversation like with Dre in that regard around that time?
He called me and he was like, because I remember I had texted him, but I can't remember what the text said. But I remember he called me. Like, I think after all of that shit happened, he said, yeah, nigga, you know what I'm saying? No matter what the fuck we go through with this business shit, nigga, you still my little brother, nigga. And I said, Dre, I said, the way I look at the word love is if I tell somebody I love them once, I mean it forever, no matter what happens, no matter what the relationship goes through. If I tell somebody I love them one time, because, you know, love is unconditional. So if I've committed to saying to somebody I love you, then that means no matter what you do to me, no matter what I do to you, I'm going to love you for life. So I said, Dre, so with that being said, bro, I love you. And he said, nigga, I love you too, man. And at that time, because we've had more conversations since then, right. But at that time, that was the first conversation after I got out of it.
For sure, man. Woo. A lot, man. I can't imagine what you was feeling like and how you were dealing. You know what I mean? Like, so
it's deep, man. even as much as I'm giving you, right. It's so much more shit.
Oh, I know, man. I can't imagine how much you got in the tuck. But when you finally get out of the contract, right? Yeah. What is the feeling?
Listen, And I'm keeping it real. And Dre, if you ever watch this, dog, I love you. We didn't talk since then. But when that release came back and the name Andre Young was signed at the bottom, I was like, I'm fucking free. Oh my God. It was like the greatest feeling I ever felt in my life. And I'm telling you, it's not just the fact of it being Aftermath. It's, y'all don't understand. First of all, I'm an Aries. So as a person, I like to be a free spirit. If I make a song tonight, I want to be able to drop it tonight if I feel like it. So being controlled by anything is not natural for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just not. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was on Aftermath from 2013 to like 2019, 20. So however many years, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
years.
So, dog, 7 years of like not being able to do what you want to do, having these musical ideas that you can't put out, having these things that you want to do that you got to wait for people's approval on, talking to people that you know don't care, like not Dre. Dre always cared about like my album, but talking to like certain executives and you could look in their eyes and you could tell they do not give a fuck about me. They don't give a fuck about Flint. They don't give a fuck if my album come out and do good. They don't care if I flop. They don't care if I end up on Skid Row. They don't get, you can look at them and tell that they don't give a fuck about you. I didn't come from that. I came from having a crew where we all loved each other. I came from when I was at them festivals with 20 people, we loved each other. That's why we was in that van and we drove to South by Southwest. It wasn't because Jon Connor's going to get a record deal and I want to use him for his money. Those were my brothers and sisters. So when I went into the music business and I'm around a bunch of motherfuckers that don't care about me at all, I don't give a fuck what nobody think. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't owe nobody, not for no album am I staying in a toxic situation that's having me in fucking therapy. Not for no fucking album am I staying around motherfuckers that want to rob you for your money and hope that you don't understand the music business so they could take money from you. No, I don't care. So when people ask me about Vehicle City, do you wish it would have came out? If I have to stay in circumstances that got me in fucking therapy, no. Like, I'm glad that album died. I don't give a fuck if nobody ever hear that album, because the person that I was and how miserable I was and how much bullshit I had to put up with, like in that time period, how much of myself I almost lost trying to put this fucking album out. No, I don't wish Vehicle City came out. No, I don't ever think about that album. No, I don't. It was like, so when he finally sent back the release and it said Andre Young at the bottom, and that meant that I was free, that I could go do whatever I wanted to do, that I could go talk to my fan base again, that I could go talk to these people that used to tell me on my Instagram, I almost committed suicide and your music saved my life, and for 7 years I couldn't talk to them people. You mean to tell me, dog, I wasn't supposed to feel happy? When it was 7 years, when it was fans that used to say, yo, my brother just got killed and I listened to your song and it saved my life because I wanted to go kill them niggas, but I listened to your song and I didn't do it. That's what I make music for. One album don't make my career, and it wasn't going to take me away from them people that need my voice, dog. So that's why when people don't understand, when they like, how could you be so happy, or how could you, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? What? No, I wasn't about to lose myself. I wasn't about to go crazy just to put out one album on a label, because that's your dream. My dream was just to help people through my music. My dream was just to be a dude from Flint, Michigan that could show people that you can make it. Your dream be, sensationalizing this one and that one. And if Dr. Dre hears my music, if Jay-Z hears my music and it's great, and I'm not devaluing it and I'm not underappreciating it, but I'm trying to tell y'all, like the people in the comments, when I say y'all, don't get it fucked up. My dreams aren't your dreams. My expectations and what I think of myself aren't what you think of me. The expectations you have for yourself aren't the ones that I have for myself. My career didn't begin or end with Aftermath. So every time I help somebody or save a life with my music, that's what I do it for. So all the passion you hearing in me right now, for 7 years I had to bottle that up, dog. For 7 years I had to smile and act like I was happy and I wasn't. When I wished I could talk to them people and help them people, dog. So when I got the paperwork back, dog, I was happy to them motherfucker, man.
Damn. Yo, so, okay, when you got to leave, right, was it under conditions of like you had to pay money back, or you, like the next album you put out, like some money goes towards that?
No, because all I kept saying was I just want because when they was asking me, well, what did I want to do? I just kept saying, just let me out of this, and I don't want to owe nobody nothing. Just let me out of this. So I will say to them, I appreciate that I got let go with no, like,
No
you know what I'm
strings
saying?
attached.
No strings attached. I got let go.
That's dope,
And
man.
the only thing is that, you know, of course, they own the music and they own, you know what I'm saying, everything that I did when I was there, as they should. Like, people be thinking, am I mad that they own Vehicle City? They should own it. I was an employee for Universal Music Group when I made that music. And, like, you know, all the stipulations of they can sell those songs and they should be able to do that. I was employed as a songwriter. I wrote songs for a company and they should own it. So I'm grateful because, yes, I got let off with no strings attached.